Program BA, Subject Optional English, Semester 3, Session 70. Facets of Language, Negotiating Discourse, Speech and Writing. We are going to discuss today non-fluency, sentence structures, monitoring and interaction factors, degree of formality and informality. Let us recap what we had discussed in the last session. We had discussed two modes of language are spoken and written. Spoken mode, it relies on many non-verbal signals, gestures and facial expression. And written language involves addressees who are not present and so cannot respond immediately. In written mode and scripted speeches, grammatically correct sentences are there. In spontaneous speech, unfinished sentences acceptable. Writing, permanent reread information not repeated, and speech information has to be repeated. So we have seen all these features in the last session. Features of written and spoken mode. In written, it is inexplicitness, simple structure, repetitiveness, non-fluency, interaction features, lack of clear sentence boundaries. And as in spoken, we have fluency, non-monitoring features are there, non-repetitiveness, complex structures, explicitness, and so on. So let us continue with that. Non-fluency is one of the feature of the written mode of language, that is hesitation, that is we use in the sentences. Unintended repetitions are there and false starts. For example, Kerala is good looking place. What I mean to say is Kerala is a beautiful place. So there is a non-fluency and fillers, so all that. Grammatical blends, for example, a blend happens when a sentence begins in one way and ends in another. For example, would you mind repeating what's the title? Would you mind repeating what the title is? Unfinished sentences are there. What I want to say is, that's okay, I'll tell you later. Writing appears to be more fluent. All this can be edited. And the other feature is simple structures, that is strong correlation between complexity and length, that is the number of words. Complexity in discourse can be measured as follows: the number of elements clauses contain, the number of modifiers in a noun phrase, the number of subordinate clauses in a sentence. And the monitoring and interaction, that is the monitoring features has to do with adverbs and adverbials, that is like, well, I mean, sort of, you know, you see, what indicate that the speaker is aware of the addressee's presence and recognizes his reactions. And in interaction features, it invites the active participation of the addressee as he questions. Both appear in speech, which is reciprocal interaction, as in conversation or dialogues. They are not found in monologue or writing. So the formality and informality, that is speech. In speech, there is less formal than writing, and speech and writing are generally complementary, sometimes overlap depending on situations and what they are used for. So the summary of today's session is hesitation, unintended repetitions, false starts, unfinished sentences are examples of non-fluency, and there is strong correlation between complexity and length of the sentences. Monitoring and interaction features appears in speech, which is reciprocal interaction as in conversation or dialogues. Speech and writing are generally complementary. However, there can be an overlapping their linguistic characteristics depending on what they are used for.